Good afternoon and welcome back to The Longing. Today we'll be continuing our reading of Metamorphoses. Stick around for that. Here we go, read a book. No idle reading. So we've read that. Which when Deucalion, with a piteous look, beheld he wept, and thus to Pyrrha spoke. O wife, O sister, O of all thy kind, the best and the only creature left behind. By kindred love, and now by dangers joined, of multitudes who breathed the common air, we two remain a species in a pair. The rest the seas have swallowed, nor have we even of this wretched life a certainty. The clouds are still above, and while I speak, a second deluge o'er our heads may break. Should I be snatched from hence, and thou remain, without relief or partner of thy pain? How couldst thou such a wretched life sustain? How should I be left, and thou be lost, the sea that buried her I loved should bury me? Oh, could our father his old arts inspire, and make me heir of his informing fire, that so I might abolished man retrieve, and perished people in new souls might live. But heaven is pleased, nor ought we to complain, that we the examples of mankind remain. He said, the careful couple join their tears, and then invoke the gods with pious prayers. Thus in devotion, having eased their grief, from sacred oracles they seek relief, and to Cephisus brook their way pursue. The stream was troubled, but the ford they knew. With living waters in the fountain bred, they sprinkle first their garments and their head. Then took the way which to the temple led. The roofs were all defiled with moss and mire. The desert altars, void of solemn fire, before the gradual prostrate they adored. The pavement kissed, and thus the saint implored. O righteous Themis, if the powers above by prayers are bent to pity and to love, if humane miseries can move their mind, if yet they can forgive and yet be kind, tell how we may restore by second birth mankind and people desolated earth. Then thus the gracious goddess nodding said, depart, and with your vestments veil your head, and stooping lowly down with loosened zones, throw each behind your backs your mighty mother's bones. Amazed the pair, and mute with wonder stand, till Pyrrha first refused the dire command. Forbid it, heaven, said she, that I should tear those holy relics from the sepulchre. They pondered the mysterious words again, for some new sense, and long they sought in vain. At length Deucalion cleared his cloudy brow, and said the dark enigma will allow a meaning which, if well I understand, from sacrilege will free the gods' command. This earth our mighty mother is, the stones in her capacious body are her bones. These we must cast behind. With hope and fear the woman did the new solution hear. The man defides in his own augury, and doubts the gods, yet both resolve to try. Descending from the mount, they first unbind their vests, and veiled they cast the stones behind. The stones, a miracle to mortal view, but long tradition makes it pass for true, did first the rigour of their kind expel, and supplied into softness as they fell. Then swelled, and swelling by degrees grew warm, and took the rudiments of human form. Imperfect shapes in marble such are seen, when the rude chisel does the man begin. while yet the roughness of the stone remains, without the rising muscles and the veins. The sappy parts and next resembling juice were turned to moisture for the body's use, supplying humours, blood and nourishment, the rest too solid to receive a bent. Converts to bones, and what was once a vein, its former name and nature did retain. By help of power divine in little space, what the man threw assumed a manly face, and what the wife renewed the female race. Hence we derive our nature born to bear laborious life and hardened into care. The rest of animals from teeming earth produced, in various forms received their birth. The native moisture in its close retreat, digested by the sun's arterial heat, as in a kindly womb began to breed, then swelled and quickened by the vital seed, and some in less and some in longer space, were ripened into form and took a several face. Thus when the Nile from Pharian fields is fled, and seeks with ebbing tides his ancient bed, the fat manure with heavenly fire is warmed, and crusted creatures as in wombs are formed. These when they turn the glebe, the peasants find, some rude and yet unfinished in their kind, short of their limbs a lame imperfect birth, one half alive and one of lifeless earth. For heat and moisture when in bodies joined, the temper that results from either kind, conception makes and fighting till they mix, their mingled atoms in each other fix. Thus nature's hand the genial bed prepares, with friendly discord and with fruitful wars. From hence the surface of the ground with mud and slime besmeared the feces of the flood, received the rays of heaven and sucking in the seeds of heat new creatures did begin. Some were of several sorts produced before, but of new monsters earth created more. Unwillingly, but yet she brought to light the python too, the wondering world to fright, and the new nations with so dire a sight. So monstrous was his bulk, so large a space, did his vast body and long train embrace, whom Phoebus, basking on a bank, espied, ere now the god his arrows had not tried, but on the trembling deer or mountain goat, at this new quarry he prepares to shoot. Though every shaft took place, he spent the store of his full quiver, and 'twas long before the expiring serpent wallowed in his gore. Then to preserve the fame of such a deed, for Python slain he Pythian games decreed, where noble youths for mastership should strive, to quoit, to run, and steeds and chariots drive. The prize was fame in witness of renown, an oaken garland did the victor crown. The laurel was not yet for triumphs born, but evergreen alike by Phoebus worn, did with promiscuous grace his flowing locks adorn. The transformation of Daphne into a laurel. The first and fairest of his loves was she, whom not blind fortune, but the dire decree of angry Cupid forced him to desire. Daphne her name, and Peneus was her sire, swelled with the pride that new success attends. He sees the stripling while his bow he bends, and this insults him, thou lascivious boy, are arms like these for children to employ? No, such achievements are my proper claim, due to my vigour and unerring aim. Resistless are my shafts and Python late, in such a feathered death has found his fate. Take up the torch and lay my weapons by, with that the feeble souls of lovers fry. To whom the son of Venus thus replied, Phoebus, thy shafts are sure on all beside, but of mine of Phoebus, mine of the fame shall be, of all thy conquests, when I conquer thee. He said, and soaring swiftly winged his flight, nor stopped put on Parnassus's airy height, 2 different shafts he from his quiver draws, one to repel desire and one to cause. One shaft is pointed with refulgent gold, to bribe the love and make the lover bold. One blunt and tipped with lead, whose baser lie provokes disdain, and drives desire away. The blunted bolt against the nymph he dressed, but with the sharp transfixed Apollo's breast. And with that, we'll leave it there, because that is another 10 minutes gone. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon or night, no matter what time of day it is. I hope you have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we'll be back tomorrow with more of The Longing. Goodbye.